So the US government is currently shut down. A shutdown occurs when Congress and the President can't agree on federal spending. Many government agencies are forced to close or reduce their services. Let's discuss how shutdowns affect the economy, jobs, and markets. What happens during a shutdown? When the government stops, paychecks to federal workers also stop. During the last shutdown, about 380,000 employees were furloughed on a leave of absence without pay, and another 420,000 workers worked without pay until the government reopened. According to the Office of Management and Budget, roughly 25% of federal operations paused during that period. Everything from national parks to passport offices were affected. There's been 21 federal shutdowns since 1976. The longest one lasted 35 days from December 2018 to January 2019 during the Trump administration's first term. The Congressional Budget Office reported that the 2018 to 2019 shutdown reduced US GDP by $11 billion, with $3 billion in permanent losses that were never recovered. That year, the US economy grew 2.9%, but the shutdown temporarily lowered quarterly growth by roughly 0.2 percentage points. According to the Center for American Progress, federal contractors lost an estimated $2.3 billion in wages. Local economies got hurt the most, especially in Washington, D.C., where nearly 1 in 4 jobs are tied to federal spending. So what happens to markets? Stock markets usually fall slightly during shutdowns, but recover quickly afterward. Data from LPL Financial shows that since 1980, the S&P 500 dropped an average of 0.6% during shutdowns, but gained about 3% in the following month once funding returned. The last shutdown was the outlier. 1 week before the shutdown, the S&P 500 dropped 7.1%. only to spike 10% during the shutdown on investor expectations for a quick resolution, and then rallied 3.7% on the week after the shutdown ended. An extended shutdown can raise short-term volatility and hurt government yields due to payment delays. Shutdowns also hurt private employees that depend on government contracts for their income. In 2019, the Bureau of Labor Statistics estimated that around 1.2 million private sector workers faced reduced hours or delayed pay. At the same time, national park closures caused $500 million in lost tourism revenue. Temporary unemployment claims by federal workers spiked by over 25,000 during January 2019. While GDP often rebounds after funding resumes, repeated shutdowns weaken economic stability. The Government Accountability Office found that shutdowns between 2013 and 2019 cost the government $4 billion overall in lost productivity and extra administrative expenses. Each time an agency stops and restarts, contracts, hiring, and planning are delayed. This also affects public trust in the system. Only 20% of Americans say they trust the federal government most of the time, according to a poll by Pew Research. So government shutdowns may be politically driven, but they end up in real financial costs. They slow economic growth, reduce wages, and kill confidence in both the public and private sectors. In a time of relative political uncertainty, stable and predictable funding is an underappreciated asset, as it can provoke a crisis in unemployment and damage the broader US economy. For more analysis and reports, like and subscribe to Econopoly. Thanks for watching.